Welcome to Hypnosis Health Info. I'm Roger Moore. I recently had a woman that decided not to pursue the Slender for Life weight loss program because what she was really looking for was someone to hypnotize her like a magic wand so that she could continue eating the foods that make people fat and sick and allow herself to lose weight. And I don't know if that makes sense to you. It certainly doesn't to me. That that's the definition of insanity, of continuing to do what you've always done and expecting different results. Just it doesn't work that way. But she just could not see herself giving up the standard American diet, and she couldn't imagine living a life without meat, and just thought that sounded so radical and such a unbelievable change that she absolutely couldn't imagine it. Well, you know, folks, Sanjay Gupta said actually a couple years ago in an interview that he was conducting, where he said that 100 years from now, people are going to look back at how we're eating today and say, wow, that's radical. What were they thinking? Because the reality is, this is not how people have lived throughout most of the history of mankind. And I just came across an article that I found fascinating. This is from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, and Dr. Bernard's writing that about an article in the 1907 New York Times that shows that meat causes cancer. And a century later, many people still haven't heard the news. And he talks about a debate that he participated in, and where he cited two enormous studies. One was the 2009 NIH AARP study with 500,000 participants, and a 2012 Harvard study with 120,000 participants. In both studies, meat eaters were at a higher risk of cancer, death, and many more studies have shown the same thing. And he says, the tragedy is this: the link between meat and cancer has been known for more than a century. On September 24th, 1907, the New York Times published an article entitled Cancer Increasing Among Meat Eaters, which described a 7-year epidemiological study showing that meat eaters were at a high cancer risk compared with those choosing other staples, focusing especially on immigrants who had abandoned traditionally, largely plant-based diets in favor of a meatier fare in the U.S., the lead researcher said. There cannot be the slightest question that the great increase in cancer among the foreign-born over the prevalence of that disease in their native countries is due to the increased consumption of animal foods. And over the past century, meat eating in America has soared, as have cancer statistics. USDA figures show that meat eating rose from 123.9 pounds of meat per person per year in 1909 to 201.5 pounds in 2004. This is just absolutely amazing to me that increase in meat consumption has occurred, even when we know about the dangers of eating animal products, animal proteins, and the cancer risks, along with many other health issues that are associated. And then there's another article from Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine from January 30th of 2014, so just a week ago. It says, red and processed meat endangers health. Red and processed meat products increased women's disease risk, according to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Researchers from Harvard analyzed the diets and blood of 3,690 participants from the Nurses' Health Study and found that the total red meat consumption increased C-reactive protein, CRP, a biomarker of infections and diseases, including heart disease and cancers. And then it goes on about other indicators that cancer risk was increased. And it says weight and calorie intake also increased with increased intake of red and processed meat products. So folks, no, Weight loss hypnosis is not a wave of the magic wand where you get to continue eating the foods that make people fat and sick. If you continue eating foods that make people fat and sick, then you're likely to end up fat and sick. That's how it works. But what hypnosis will allow you to do is end your desire and have no desire, a large amount of no desire for meats and for dairy products, for fat, salt, and sugars, for the foods that do make you fat and sick. In fact, I had a fairly new Slender for Life weight loss client in this morning, a gentleman that was just amazed, and it was so exciting to me to hear this from him. He went to the casino, he and his wife, for dinner, and went to the buffet, and this is a fairly large man, and some of the old self-talk had come back. And as he was walking in, he had it pictured in his mind of all the meats that are there at the buffet, and he was telling me how in the past he's just heaped his plate full of these meats, and with the idea that after he'd eat the meats, he'd eat the salad. Well, he never ever got to the salad because he was eating so much meat. And it was so exciting to see the look in his face and the look in his eyes as he talked about it was unbelievable to him that he looked at the meats with no interest. And he went straight for the salad, and he ate salad, and he loved it, and it was great, and he had no desire to eat the meats, and he made it sound like it was a miracle for him that to have that experience. That's what hypnosis can do for you. It's not going to allow you to eat the foods that make you fat and sick and not get fat and sick, but it will allow you to stop those desires for foods that make you fat and sick and have an increased desires for foods that support health and wellness and being slender. So what I invite you to do is take a look at all the tools, all the resources here at hypnosishealthinfo.com and at slenderforlife.com. And I have a free weight loss class that I'm offering, and if you catch this video in time, you'll be able to partake in that, and have ongoing starch solution classes with Dr. John McDougall, and so check out my website for, I'll include in the posts links to those classes. These are classes that you can attend from wherever you're at in the world online. And then I'm happy to offer you a free weight loss consultation. If you're here in the Puget Sound area, you can come to this office here in Bainbridge Island, or over in Seattle in my office in the Medical Dental Building. Once a month I'm out in Forks. And then I coach clients for health issues pretty much around the world, several countries and several states across the United States, all online. I have my own platform through Adobe Connect, and it's a secure, very stable platform where we can come in both in group setting or in one-on-one, as I do with consultations and with sessions. And in that secure platform, it's just pretty much like being in the same room together, and I can teach you the tools, teach you the skills, so that you too can end your desires for the foods that make you fat and sick, and create a healthy desire for the vegetables, the whole grains, the fruits, for exercise, for water, that supports you in letting go of the weight, and most importantly, keeping it off, because it truly is all about being slender for the rest of your life. So if I can support you in any way, please feel free to give me a call at 206-903-1232, or send me an email, roger@hypnosishealthinfo.com. I'm Roger Moore, and this is Hypnosis Health Info.